I think we do now have the good mayor of Vicksburg, Mississippi, George Flaggs, where some of the biggest gators are. Chotard, Albemarle, all along that river area. Have you ever been gator hunting, Mayor? At all?
Not in my lifetime.
Not something on your bucket list either, is it?
Yep, absolutely not.
Listen, thank you for joining us. What's the COVID situation there? Your mask mandate still there, or where are we now in Vicksburg?
Absolutely not. We've been off about 2 weeks. We don't have a mandate. We 100% reopen. We're doing fine. The numbers are below a 3% average a day. Death rate is down, and we're doing good. I think everybody in Vicksburg is complying to everything, and it's an individual responsibility. Churches, organizations, and business are required to determine their own fate, and they're doing well.
We had 105 COVID positive tests across the state in the last report, 1 death. So it has been going down there, and so that is good news. It's good. I was watching a couple of ball games, and of course, watching the golf tournament yesterday. Man, it's good to see the crowds back. It's good to see.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think Mississippi, in spite of what national trends and national news outlet would say, I think we've done great in this state as it relates to one of the poorest states, one of the most educated population. I think everybody has come in and joined in and collaborated well. I'm absolutely convinced that we've done the right things in the state, and we need to continue to do it. The vaccination is very important, and I think they need to continue it and continue to have them available, which now you get them in CVS, Walgreens, and Kroger. So I think we're doing fine. I think we're on our way to full participation, and it is also great for health and great for the economy.
Well, one of the other things, too, is that we had so many mixed messages from even in the latter stages of the Trump administration and all the way to date from the CDC and everything else. Did it start in Wuhan? Now they think it does or did. Do you wear a mask? Do you not wear a mask? There was just so many things that we heard from the people on high. And then all of a sudden, it was just the opposite of that. But if you're a mayor in a municipality trying to make those rules and regulations and do what you have to do, it had to be tough on you guys too.
Well, not for me, because I was watching other states. I was watching the national trend and the state trend. I was listening to CDC. I was listening to the presidential task force, and then I was listen to Dr. Dobbs and my local experts. So between all of that, I think we made the right decision at the right time. I feel good about the decision I made. If I had to do it all over again, I'd probably do it a little different. I probably would have brought in the mask mandate a lot earlier. I didn't understand it. I was against it because I didn't think government ought to have been in folks' business or their lives to the extent. But when you get a certain situation like a pandemic, I think you ought to make the right decision as best you can, and we did that.
Well, we all learned a lot of different things through that. And,
absolutely, we did learn.
God forbid that there's another one, but at least we have a track record now, and we know what to do and when to do it and how far to go. I did want to ask you a couple of things.
In Vicksburg, we have a model now. We know what we need to do and when we need to do it now.
Is there anything that was put on hold now because of the pandemic kind of at the hopefully ending stages that you're going to roll back out? Is the casinos at full speed now?
The casinos at full capacity, open. Our riverboats are back, opening. Our tourism economy is coming back strong. And last but not least, the business of our community are growing stronger. And in fact, we had the highest tax revenue collection last month than we've had in the last 2 or 3 years. Gaming was even up by 369%.
How about that? What about the any of the stimulus money? That's come down. Are you guys? Did you get much of that?
We have not received it yet. We're supposed to get $4.8 million, and half of it's supposed to be coming in, and we're waiting on it. We're also waiting on the regulations to be fine-tuned by our staff and those type things. But we feel good about getting the money. We think we can use it. It couldn't come in no better time. The good news is that we was able to balance our budget 2 years in spite of it. But all the money that we can get is very important. We're now looking at not only that money, we're looking at the money that may be coming down from a infrastructure bill.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Let me pick your brain a little bit with all the allies you still have in the state legislature and state government, and been there a long time. What's your advice on the personal income tax?
That's a tough one, Paul. Let me just say something. I'm a fiscal conservative person. I believe any government that is big enough to give should be big enough to take. Now, having said that, I think it's a balancing act. You cannot move one tax to another bracket without affecting the whole Mississippi economy. I think they need to go slow. I think they need to study some more, and they need to phase it in rather than trying to do it overnight. But to that extent, I don't want to get in it because the legislature have been good to me, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker, and I want to stay in my lane.
You don't want to be put in timeout.
Absolutely.
You've been there before.
And they good to me, and I want to be good for them.
Well, then, do you want to talk about the medical marijuana thing? What does it look like if you got a pot shop on every corner in Vicksburg? Hold on, you can answer that question when we come back.
I don't know enough about it.
Hold on. Come on, you know enough about it. I'm not going to let you out of this. As the mayor of Vicksburg, what do you want to see when they fashion a new medical marijuana program? They're waiting on your wisdom. They're waiting on your wisdom. Hold on. We'll get back to this. Let me get back to the mayor of one of our hometowns, and that is Vicksburg, Mississippi. But back with the mayor. And one of the questions was, will you use your considerable influence with the legislature to fashion a bill or to at least have some influence in a bill that would allow Vicksburg to opt out of the medical marijuana legislation that's forthcoming?
Absolutely not. I have no intention of getting involved in that issue. I do think that at the end of the day, municipalities ought to receive a revenue from it, and we need a revenue stream. And how they fashion that is up to them. Paul, let me just say, other than the flag, I don't think I've been in the legislative business. I'm going to stay out of it. They're good to me. I'm going to stay in my lane. One of the things that I think that we as politicians ought to do, understand is that we ought to understand what level we play at this. And when it gets to the legislative process, I remove myself unless the leadership called me in and asked me a question or something. But I think they're doing good overall. But I would suggest this, though, on medical marijuana, other than the revenue stream, go slow. I would be more concerned about fixing the referendum than I would be about medical marijuana if I was there.
Well, what's your history when you start talking? Because you were in the state legislature for a long time. Tell me a little bit about the referendum. You were against the referendum?
I was against the referendum.
What year was this? Was back in?
That was back in the early around 2014. No, it had to been around 2012, something like, not 12, about 2009, some 10, something like that. I forgot. But I remember the progressives brought it through. Caesar Summer, no type of person, brought it through because they wasn't getting what they thought they should get out of the legislative process because they thought that Tim Ford was ruling with an iron fence. And, we went through all of that. And I was on the Ford team. I believe that power should not concede power.
Well, it's good to hear you say that because there are some problems. I understand the need for an initiative process. Don't get me wrong. But it has to be the right kind. And to me, it's evolved from where it was when it first started out to now. As somebody mentioned to me, it's a cottage industry. Anybody with a lot of money can force through an initiative that the people don't know the ins and outs about. And I think we saw that in this, not only medical marijuana, but also in the advocacy for Medicaid expansion. To put that in a constitution basis was just ludicrous.
I believe every 4 years we elect people that we want to go to change or not change our government and our laws, and I stick by that. To that extent, I'm a conservative. I believe that government ought to be responsible for itself, and to that extent, the Constitution says that they ought to govern themselves. So I think the legislature ought to address any issue within its own body, and if it fails, then you ought to hold the legislature accountable, not just get emotional and start going around.
Let me give you, while we only got a couple of seconds here, let me give you a shameless plug. Anything, what's the next big event going on in Vicksburg?
The Mississippi Pageant, one of the biggest economic drivers to our economy. We have people coming around the state and around this nation to see a pageant that is put on better than any pageant in the country. I've been to all of them. Well, not all of them. I've been to the national. I've been to the ones here. But we put on a great pageant. It's great for our economy. And we look forward to the welcoming the people in the city of Vicksburg. And by the way, we have at our on exhibit now, and will be open on the 2nd of June, a welcome to Vicksburg's finest, coming west and going east.
How about that? What about the park, the national park?
Park is coming back. They were able to open up. They're coming back. Tourists is picking up. Hotel stay is picking up. We're on our way back. And that's because I believe that we made some great decisions and some great time.
Tell you what we could do. I could, we both have some contacts at the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. If you want to go one night to alligator hunting together, you want to get that to get done, and I may have a cough or something, can't be there, but we could plan it. You and I go alligator hunting.
If I got a fear, it's being around alligators. I'd rather see it from the video.
It's always good talking to you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Look forward to getting you in the studio.
Thank you, Paul, and always good to hear from you.
You got it. The one and only Mayor George Flaggs from the great city of